I'm trying to do it today. Get this hooked up outside of the bike to hear it run, and I just had a minor episode of ridiculousness where I could not figure out which one of these hoses goes where, because they both hook up to the fuel, to the throttle body in the kind of similar looking spot, but the problem I'm facing was I wasn't sure which one goes where. It's labeled M and R, which doesn't to me mean in or out. It's probably Italian, but I figured out that white is the return, and so R returno, I don't know, and the black, or what was originally black, is the intake. But of course the new fittings that I got are silver, so that'll be a little bit of a challenge. But the longer hose I know goes to the front throttle body, so this. Anyway, yeah, so this is the, let's make sure I have my brain straight here. Yeah, in, we're going to connect it to the N. Okay, and out. Out. Nope, that's wrong. White is the return. It should be the short line. Which I think I have that backwards. Yeah, because out is out of the pump, not out of the bike, which makes more sense than the way I had it. Again, warts and all, so if this ends up bad, you guys will have video footage of it. Okay, so we have coming out of this into the bike. Yeah, that should be it. These are the old ones, but I didn't throw them away yet. I was thinking about it. Okay, there's the fuel line. We'll need to hook up the battery. And then, so let's get that battery off the charger. Alright, so I'm going to set this up in a bucket. Just in case. trust my engineering skills here, but so what I'm going to do is just prop this on a bucket just in case we have a leak of some sort. Don't need all this hose. I just got an extra line so that just for this occasion, cheap stuff from AutoZone. That's all I'm going to use it for, is this little test. It would help if my knife wasn't so dull. All right. Put this back up. Okay, so in theory, assuming this works, I'm going to turn that on, and the fuel pump will prime itself. I want it to sit as close to normal as it will. Oh, now I lost that hose. Damn. Alright, I'm going to try this a different way. Kind of a Mickey Mouse way to do this all. I'll fish that bit out here in a minute. I'm just going to put a clamp on here so that this one doesn't go missing. It just needs to get in there, you know? Okay, now get a screwdriver. So, no one get too excited. Normally, you know, you would not be able to just turn a motorcycle on like this. And this bike needs to be a bigger screwdriver. This bike's going to get its key replaced, so. It breathes. Okay, it's in neutral. I just milled it out and I tested it while I was running. So let's see. Go to on. It's been commanded on. Oh, I know why it didn't do that. I forgot to hook up the fuel pump. Oops. Okay, there's the hit bitting. Here's the plug over here. That's in there. That's just gonna have to sit in there like that. I don't want fuel going everywhere. Okay, off. Turn the key to on. Turn to run. Should prime. And I'm gonna do that again just because it hasn't had gas in a while. It's got a long way to go. So I'm gonna prime it again. All right. I'm going to pause it real quick, make sure we're recording because this will be the first start. We are recording. Clutch is in, starter button. no fuel's leaking out. That didn't work the way I wanted it to. It's getting some gas. This won't fit in there. I think your hose isn't long enough. It's like just barely touching, so we'll get another line. There we go, that sounds different. I'm going to prime it one more time. I think there's just not enough gas getting to it. It's definitely pulling some, but just not meant to be done this way. And there's gas in there, but so while I was doing this, these wires came loose. And I'm wondering, I don't have this shit backwards. That pushed water out, fuel out. Maybe not. So the pump is just not really pulling very much. I don't think it has enough ass to pull that out. Got another option is to get a little cup and try to pull it the way it normally would pull it, which is with kind of immersed in fuel. So I'm gonna pause real quick and think this out and try it again. Okay, so now I have the fuel. It's actually immersed in a coffee cup full of gas. It's like the most Mickey Mouse thing you guys have probably ever seen, but oh, it actually took all of that gas this time. I'm gonna give it some more. Yeah, that's how it's meant to work. Okay, where's the thing? This is definitely, don't try it this way at home, kids. All right, let's try it. She lives! Yeah! So we got a little bit of crud burning off, but that's just shit that was on the exhaust pipe. That was really cool. You might have seen I got a little bit of gas spilled on the my manuals. Oh well, but that was really cool. Most ghetto way to start a motorcycle, but I proved that it'll run at least. I was a little concerned that that smoke there, what that was, but I can see it's just shit coming off the exhaust pipe. You know, just your typical fluids and whatnot. So that's great. We got a healthy engine. So now the things we got to check. I want to see. It only ran for a minute, but that'll give me an idea if we have any leakage in the well, any leakage elsewhere. So the only smoke I was seeing, like I said, was that rear exhaust header, and I think that's just like chemicals, and I'm not even really in the film. Boy, I hope that was recording. Okay, it was recording. So, you know, a bit of smoke, and I made a little bit of a mess with the gas, but that was freaking cool. Okay, personal note for later. We have the line labeled in to the close cylinder. So back rear cylinder, vertical cylinder, intake, in. Out goes the forward cylinder. So I just finished my walk around and I did discover something. That is not gas. Though you'd expect the gas, but if it was gas it would have been evaporated. It's been, 10-15 minutes now. So that, oh, there you saw drip probably. That's coming from right here, which is the this is all coolant. Now the coolant reservoir holding pretty good, but there's definitely a leak on this hose. So this hose is bad for sure. The kits are they're not too expensive, but I will probably have to replace it. I was kind of thinking that these hoses were going to have to get replaced anyway, but this is why I did this start today. So I know now we have at least one bad coolant hose, which, you know, that means they're all probably as old as the bike. They look like it, but you know, I'm not quite sure actually how it's leaking out of there. First I was hoping it was from the. Actually, let's take a look, because that's higher than I thought. Actually, it might be coming from up here. I'm gonna have to figure that out. So there's wetness up here. It may have been spraying while I was running. I couldn't tell. I'm hoping it's not from anything too crazy. But there's definitely some sort of coolant leak around here. I don't know what this looks like. Electrical cable. I think that's what that is. So that's electrical cable. It looked like it was this hose, but you know what? I'm starting to think this hose is good. The catch, the overflow reservoir has got some fluid in it. I think that's pretty normal. Hoping this isn't a more serious item. I did spill a lot earlier, and I was hoping it might be that, but may have to just replace all these hoses to be safe anyway. You know, it's like an afternoon job to replace all that crap. I'm wondering, why are these so loose? This looks like this should be going somewhere. Anyone know anything about these? What else? Let's take a look. There's a little bit of moisture in the front there, but I think that's from when I overfilled it the other day. And then the other big question is on this side. I'm a little concerned that we may have some fluid in there. There's a sheen. Uh-oh. I think what the camera is picking up is that was just a glare, but there's definitely a bit of water sitting on top of all that. Oil's going to get drained and replaced. It doesn't look too bad though. It looks like oil and not milk. Make sure my kick's down. I'm going to set the camera down so I don't have a stupid moment on the film. Yeah. Okay. What else do we got? Looks good. The exhaust pipe. You can see where the smoke was coming from. It's just like that crud there. There's that shock. I don't even want to know how it is yet. Nice new battery. Other than that, I'm not seeing any leaks. I mean, you guys saw I recorded the entire extent of it running, so obviously it didn't run very long. There's still plenty of fluid in the reservoir up top. There's only a little bit, looks like, down here. This is loose because, you know, of course it is. I mean, there's just a little bit caught in there. Other than that, I didn't see any oil leaks or anything too crazy, so it didn't really get up to operating temperature or anything like that, so it wasn't a wonderful check, but we'll worry about the fluid in there. Definitely before I start it again, I'm going to change the oil, but now I know I know where I'm at least, you know, so, and we'll have to clean off that pipe, see if that way we can prevent smoking next time. I'll figure out if I can find something to do that, so that way I don't have smoke that's just, hey, smoke burning off of it, you know, header smoke kind of stuff. So other than that, that was cool. It was successful. Fuel pump's about stopped dripping, so I'm going to start disconnecting all that. And once all that's disconnected, I'm going to finish 100% the refurbishment of the fuel pump. So I think the fuel pump filter, pickup filter, whatever you want to call it, was due for a replacement. There's no screen in there. What do you think? Do you think this was maybe a little bit due to be replaced? Alright, well, I'm kind of out of stuff to do today, so what I'm going to do is just do a chain clean, because well, I got time, and so hey, time to do something. And I found my box of gloves, so it'll look a little ridiculous, but I don't want anyone calling me out, being like, whoa, you handled the chain degreaser with gloves, but not the fuel? I just couldn't find them. So anyway. Well, I finished with the chain lube, and I'm pretty pleased with the results. I found a few things that were broken, but I think I'm about to wrap it up for this episode, if you will, because yeah, I'm getting tired, and actually I got some video editing to do to actually put all these videos online. But yeah, it's actually looking a lot better, so I'm going to switch to the camera to front view real quick. So I actually went through and did more than just clean the chain. I pretty much degreased the whole engine. Kind of started using that degreaser stuff, and then just started hitting deeper and deeper pockets, and then eventually figured out I was so far away from the chain that it was safe to use engine degreaser. So I hit a lot of the engine, and I'm actually really pleased. There's actually a somewhat clean motorcycle under here. I'm going to pat out a bunch of the stuff. You can see water dripping, and yeah, I closed the injectors up before I went in here, but you know, some of this kind of like this smudging up here, this will need a little more attention to detail, but you know, like this stuff here was just caked. Where else can we see? Down in there, you can see I've knocked out a bunch, a bit of paper towel left from my scrubbing. The chain looks fantastic. I still kind of need to give a look to make sure it's mechanically sound, but at least it's all clean now, right? So, clean chain, sprocket's nice and clean. So that's, you know, a good feeling. I'm about to go lube it up here real quick. That, I'm not sure what we're gonna do about that. Good, helicopter's coming and gonna ruin my video here. Well, got the shock cleaned up a bit. It still needs a lot of work, but it sure looks cleaner now with a bit of scrubbing. Yeah, this casing here was utterly caked. It was black, and now it's silver. So I mean, there's a viable motorcycle under here. After hearing it run myself, that's, you know, a really good feeling. This is another thing that was pretty. It wasn't too bad, but this here came out really nice. Sure, I keep covering the video, or keep covering the mic, so hopefully the audio comes out on this. There, that's a spot that turned out really good. It was really bad, real bad. In there, you know, sprocket area always gets pretty bad, so I cleaned that out real good. Of course, there's still some grime in there, and you know, this is by no means like a final thing for cleaning, but yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and grease the chain, and probably call it a night for this episode after this. But you know, otherwise this all looks pretty good, you know. We got in there. Oh, there's a busted key. There's an elephant. So, yep, cleaner motorcycle. Not clean, but cleaner. In the YouTube video. What are you gonna say? Say hello to the YouTube video. Hi. Hi. Do you want to be in it, Rye?
No.
You don't want to be in it?
Nope.
Why not? It's for a bunch of motorcycle nerds.
No. I bet so.
Uh-huh.
Go say hi to Dada. And probably all your family. Go over there, say hi, Dada.
What's going on, Lukey? troublemakers.
What?
One last thing I wanted to show tonight before I go to bed is the this was the gasket. So yeah, I didn't realize, but I had just set it on the ground when I took it off. But look at this. So this is duct tape, and it was like a duct tape core. It's kind of like wound up. So like this was like in the middle, creating the actual gasket. And I think this was electric tape. It's definitely some kind of tank. It may have been some sealer, but it's really crinkly, which tells me, you know, stuff that's been submersed in gas that's not supposed to, that is susceptible to gas, it gets crinkly like this. So this shit, this is kind of unbelievable, you know, that this is how they would do it. I mean, a gasket, I mean, just to use some, like, make a gasket stuff would have been like a $5 tube. And instead we have this. So this is amazing. I don't know whose idea this was, but yeah. And I'm still cleaning this shit out of the tank. Anyway. What else? Yeah, the fuel pump I'm going to call 100%. And the next big step will be to clean and de-rust that tank. So I've got 2 kits on order. I got one kit that will clean the tank out. It will first of all get the remains of this out, and then then I have another bottle of stuff to de-rust it, and then I have a third bottle of stuff to reline the tank. So you've got to get rid of it's important to get rid of the rust out of the tank before you reline it, because otherwise it will, you know, cause you'll just have rust growing underneath the lining you put in. Then you're just kind of hiding the problem, making it worse. So that's the next step, and I won't run it again, you know, the way I did it today with, you know, the cup. You know, it's kind of a Mickey Mouse way to do it. Not kind of, it is the most redneck Mickey Mouse way I've ever ran a motorcycle. But, you know, I had a couple seconds of it running and could see that we have a viable bike. So now we'll get the fuel tank 100%. I'll probably change the oil before I do that. In fact, I may do an oil change tonight, which case I'll turn the camera back on. One way or another, before I run it to any length of time, it's going to get an oil change. You know, that's the next step. Once I get the oil change done, then it's a debate. Do I want to put the shocks, try to rebuild the shocks next, or if I want to do the belts? I think I might err on the side of doing the belts and the valves, just because then I'll have a viable, you know, I'll be done with one sector and then I can move on to the next sector, the front end. So, but yeah, for now I'm just going to be cleaning up and getting ready to do family time stuff. So signing out.